What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Best Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Russler. Before we get today's show started, I wanted to plug a show I've got coming up. On May 17th, I will be at the Park Hills Underground in Park Hills, Missouri. It's going to be a really fun show, a bunch of good comics. My buddy Funny Man Myson's putting it on. It's going to be me, Ellie Kirchhoffer, Richie James, a couple other comedians. It's going to be great. I'm going to put the poster somewhere in here, this region-ish. Yes, you don't want to miss out, so grab tickets now. It's going to be a ton of fun. I know that show's going to be awesome. Make sure you guys come out. All right, so my guest today is Sam Vining. He's a comedian out of St. Louis, but before he got into comedy, he cleaned up crime scenes. He also helped clean out hoarding houses, and I can't say certain words on here, but he helped clean up people that unalived themselves and unalived others. So we got deep into the weeds on that. It was really fun. It gets a little dark. I'll be honest. It gets a little dark, but in a fun way, you know? If you're into crime scene, if you're into true detectives and murder mysteries and stuff like that, I think this is going to be a good episode for you. He's also a really funny guy and just a good hang. So I know you guys will enjoy the episode. Check it out. You want to plug your social media or any shows you got coming up real quick?
No shows because I'm such a well-traversed comedian. But my Instagram is _Sam Vining _ SAMVINING.
Yeah, I was about to say you better spell it because
nobody understands my name and I don't really get it either.
I've known you for a while now and I don't know how to spell it.
Yeah,
when I was typing it in the computer, I was like VINING.
Last night at Platypus, it was like Sam V scribble. And I was like, is this supposed to be me? Because I had someone sign me up.
They're like, yeah, probably. And it was also, well, never mind. No, I forgot I'd already hit record. All right. There have been a couple podcasts where it fades in while we're just like dying laughing, and that's because we've just been talking mad shit for like 15 minutes, and then you're like, oh yeah, whoops, clap.
This is gonna go out to everybody.
Yeah. So I'm happy you could do this, and I'm
happy you had me.
Oh, well, now it's weird. Leave. No.
Get the fuck out.
No, when I called my wife and I told her what you used to do for a living, and she was so jealous that I got to talk to you. So, okay. You used to clean up homicide and suicide crime scenes and hoarder houses, right?
Yes.
Okay, I want to know. I want to know everything. You know how hard it was to make the best questions out of this? Like, what's the best way to get rid of a blood stain? Like, I was like, oh, fuck, I'm on a list.
You're Googling how to do it. It's like, they're after me now.
Oh, great. They just start sending me ads for couples counseling.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, there's other steps you can take.
No, they just show you true crime podcasts. Start recommending you those. No, I mean, so everyone kind of gets it misconstrued as like, I never saw the bodies. So like a coroner or
sorry.
like coroners or EMTs would come in, take the body, and then we were left with everything else to clean up.
Some pieces, right?
Yeah, some pieces.
Some pieces.
There were some pieces of the puzzle.
I want to know, that is a good, I just thought about that, but like how do they determine what's a small enough piece to leave behind?
So, I've literally cleaned up like blood stains.
Okay.
And it's like, sometimes it's not that crazy, but like there were some ones that were pretty wild, you know, and it's like I've picked up, there was a shotgun suicide that I cleaned up I think it was my first house actually that I went to.
Your first day on the job.
It was a shotgun suicide. So like you're like pulling pieces of like scalp out of the ceiling and stuff.
Oh.
And behind the door, there was part of this woman's face, like just like that. And I think they just missed it.
They missed. Oh,
So
yeah, they probably did. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Behind the door.
Yeah, so like the door opens and it's like we closed it because we were like, oh, is there anything back here? And then I just like saw this little scrunched up. I thought it was just like a paper towel or something. I grabbed it and I was like, oh, and I could see like the eye socket. I was like, oh, this is a face, and I kind of like turned around and showed everybody, and they were like, just throw it away.
Throw it away.
Yeah, we had these big trash bags, and like you would just put everything into these trash bags, and you have to double seal it so like none of the if it breaks open, like shit like that. But yeah, like the shotguns were the worst for sure. If you're gonna kill yourself, don't do it with a shotgun.
First of all, don't kill yourself.
But if you're going to,
look, we just say worst case scenario, you have to do it.
Yeah, shotguns, they're fun, they're easy, they're
Be
quick.
courteous.
Yeah,
They're efficient. It'll get the job done, but
yeah,
don't leave a mess for your loved ones.
Yeah, I think the saddest thing about that job too was like dealing with the loved ones, because there was someone who told me they were like, there must have been a lot of like camaraderie on the job, like between the employees, and I was like, no, we had to be super quiet because a lot of times there was a relative. Like on that specific scene, it was the husband.
I'm just picturing if it was you and me, because we would just be making jokes the whole time. And it's like there's a family mourning their mom's suicide, and I look over and you've got a piece of face over your face. Hello, Clarice.
Yeah.
We're just so did you guys want this, or like we could like press it in a Bible or something, make it
I'm gonna use this as my bookmark.
You know they do it for wildflowers. Like dehydrate them and they preserve them.
There was like still like strands of hair on it too, so I don't know if you've ever seen those bookmarks, whether they had like, it's a girly bookmark, but
it looks like the book. It looks like the book from Army of the Dead or whatever, where the whole thing's made out of flesh.
The one from Evil Dead.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what, not Army of the Dead, Evil Dead. Yeah. This is my boomstick. No, Mom, don't use the boomstick. Okay, this is dark.
I told you, it can get really dark really quick when I start talking about that stuff.
Well, I watched your eyes. There was a flicker of pain a little bit when you started talking. I was like, oh, maybe he's not super excited to talk about this like I am.
I like talking to people because I like seeing other people's excitement of it. Because like when I tell people that, everyone's like, oh my God, I want to hear everything.
Yeah.
And then I start talking about it, they're like, oh my God.
Oh, I don't want to know everything.
That's not like the darkest story. I have like some really fucked up ones where, like, I remember there was one where like my boss started crying, like cleaning it up. It was a child, you know. I start laughing at that.
It was a kid.
Yeah. I mean, there's some really fucked up ones. I mean, I told you about the one. Yeah, I guess I'll talk about that one.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that guy was eating dinner.
Well, maybe we won't say what business it was.
Leave that out. Out.
So there's a tall building in downtown St. Louis.
And there's a rooftop.
It's a rooftop bar.
Yeah. Figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
But, yeah, the guy, like, climbed over the barrier and jumped off. And, on the bottom of the building, there's like a room that extends out, and there's a pool. And he hit the corner of the building, and the top of that corner is a glass ceiling. So half of them ended up in the pool room, and then half of them ended up on the street.
Ooh.
And I think the funniest thing about that, is that there was a family in the pool at the time. So somewhere out there, there's just like some scarred kids.
Do you know? I mean, can you imagine the sound of like 100 pounds of human flesh
Oh, the
hitting
guy was
water.
big too.
Smack! Like that. Like, just, there's no way to ignore what just happened.
It was the bottom half too, so
Oh.
just some legs falling from the ceiling.
Just floppy and broken. Oh. Oh.
Apparently, it landed in the pool too, so it's like imagine the splash it made. Too.
Oh my gosh! Because
Mixed with blood.
you thought it was bad when you get glass in the pool and you got to
Yeah.
drain it. Man, imagine getting Carl in the pool.
Yeah.
No. Have you seen that video where the kid tries to do the Stone Cold Steve Austin thing?
Yeah.
But he's got two glass bottles and he stands in the pool and they're like, don't you smack those together. Woo! And he tries to drink it, but it's all smashed.
That's a great video.
That is a great video. That's what the internet. That and you said, quote, she was thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. And he
Give it up.
The defense rests. Well, what's the best crime scene story? But I think we kind of.
That one, the rooftop jumping was probably the best.
How do you even start cleaning that? Like, where do you begin?
So, that one specifically was really fucked up. Like, we got the road taken care of pretty quickly. And they have, like, these special chemicals that they have to order that just get blood out really easily, things like that. Where can I order these?
Oh, so you're saying that you know how to get rid of blood quickly.
Yeah. If that did make me look like more of a murderer than I already seem to be. But yeah, and then the fucked up thing about that one was there was so much glass in the pool and they had to drain the pool.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're trying to clean it up as the pool is still draining, and there's all this glass in there. There's all this blood in there, and it's like staining because the pool is draining so slowly.
Oh,
and I think it got clogged with like maybe some intestines or something. I forget what happened, but then we had to go into the drain and like get the stuff that was clogging it out.
Yeah, it was a testicle. Yeah, it was in there. Once I took it, everything just rushed right out. Yeah, but we got it.
It's just the sack. Yeah.
It's just it was covering the drain. Yeah. It was just like, well, what are the odds of that? Yeah.
Look at the darndest thing.
Wait, okay. Well, obviously, I mean, maybe not obviously, but I've just been imagining that this body was naked when it hit the pool, but he was probably wearing clothes, right? So
I mean, I don't know if the belt's still covered. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like, what are the clothes? But I would imagine if he's wearing like jeans, they don't just shoot. I mean, maybe they do come shooting off. I don't
know. I mean, like I said, I'm not there when the body's there.
Yeah.
But that would be funny if it's just like the EMT comes in and he's just floating dick up.
It's just bobbing.
Yeah.
It's like...
just apparently, like when people die too, you get erect, like men.
Huh.
I heard this somewhere. I don't know if this is true. Don't quote me on that. But it would just be funny if he was just like dick up, full erect.
I like if it would have been funnier if you were like, well, according to my research, men are fully when all men die.
According to an independent study that I did.
A double-blind placebo.
Yeah.
That is okay. So oh man. I know that the apartments that are close to here, there was someone that jumped off of those once and hit the sidewalk.
Yeah.
But it was right by the front, like the entrance, where so like they had to close it down because it's a crime scene, or whatever.
Yeah.
But also people were pissed because like they couldn't leave the building and they couldn't get their like DoorDash orders and stuff. It's like, imagine someone,
I can't get my fucking tacos because of this asshole.
my quesadillas down there. What am I supposed to do?
I got a chalupa.
Some of us have to go to work tomorrow just because your day's over.
Just because your life's over doesn't mean I don't have to fucking go to work.
Wow, really convenient. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, also, I'm supposed to say crime scene, but I like to say suicide, homicide cleanup.
I mean...
It's a crime scene cleanup.
But let's call it what it is. Yeah. Let's call it what it is. Oh, man. So you just... again, I just wouldn't even know where to start. Like, do you get to a crime scene and you're just like, okay, you take the blood, I'll take the bone chunks, and we'll meet in the middle, or like, what? Is it just like, okay, you do the carpet, I'm gonna start on the walls, or like?
So it depends. So if it's like with the shotgun suicide, you want to start with the ceiling because a lot of times when you're like scrubbing the ceiling, it'll fall to the floor. So you don't want to clean up the floor first and then start scrubbing the ceiling, and then it all falls back onto the floor. Then you gotta redo the floor.
Okay, that's pretty big. Like dusting before you vacuum.
Yeah,
Exactly. Okay, all right, smart. Yeah, okay.
There's a process.
Yeah, it's pretty logical when you think about it.
And like if there's any like there's been times where I've literally had to pick like full chunks of like skull out of the ceiling, things like that. And it just depends on the scene too, like a stabbing versus a bullet hole, or like a decomposing bodies are a lot different because there's nothing on the ceiling.
Yeah, but it's smelly.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. There was one.
Yeah, dead bodies. Oof.
Yeah.
Man.
There was a.
The fact that you keep laughing.
I have to laugh.
I have to let it out.
But
there's a darkness in there.
There is a darkness. I mean, I was 18 when I did that job too, and I always tell people like.
You were 18?
Yeah.
They let you do that job at 18? I mean, I guess you're technically an adult, but.
So my parents were friends with the people who started the company, and they were looking for workers, and I was like, well, I can do this. Like, it's on call too, because there's not like a scheduled time. Like, you can't do a 9 to 5 cleaning up dead bodies.
We're doing the Johnson House on Sprigg at 5, and then we've got a double homicide at 3.
Yeah, no,
I don't know. We could pencil you in maybe between the suicide and birthday party massacre. I don't. Yeah.
And it was always at the most obscure times too. Like there would be times I would just be like smoking weed with my friends till like 3 a.m. and then I get a call. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm so tired, but I have to go do this. Or like, I'm on acid right now and I have to go clean up a dead body. Like I still have like trickles in my vision, and I'm like, oh, I gotta scrub this floor.
I can't tell if this blood's still wet or if the wall is water.
Surprisingly, never got sent home. But what I was gonna say was
they probably don't have a ton of people lining up to do that job, though. That's what I'm saying. So it's like once you get it, you could probably let it slide. Like you show up late to a crime scene, I'm not gonna be I'll be like, I get it.
Yeah, and I started doing the hoarding stuff first, and that was pretty easy, just like manual labor stuff. You just fill bins with trash and take them out to a dumpster. Like, that was super easy, and that was, like, my first 2 weeks on the job. And,
I was just going to say, what's the best place? The next question was, what's the best place to start in a hoarder's house? Like,
you have to start from the front a lot of times.
Really?
Like,
you just start by, like, let's clear a path?
Yes, exactly.
Into rooms? Okay.
There's, like, it depends on the house. Some hoarders are neat, and they already have a path. But, there's been
some of the hoarders are neat.
Yeah, they're neat with their hoarding. They stack it up along the edges first. But, like, there was one house, and literally they couldn't do a walkthrough, so usually with that stuff they have to walk through first, assess like how much time it's gonna take to get everything out. But this lady, like, they couldn't walk through because like the shit was just up to here, like on my waist. But she would just crawl into it and like couldn't even get to her bathroom, so she would like shit and piss in corners of the house.
I've heard about that. I've seen the show.
It's disgusting, dude.
My daughter and my wife love to watch The Hoarders.
I can't watch it. Yeah.
You can't. It's too dramatic.
It gives me flashbacks.
Was there a place that you were like I'm not doing bathrooms in the hoarding houses, or like, did you have any like hard limits of like, no, I'm not doing?
You couldn't really have hard limits at that job, and I was also the grunt worker. Like, I was 18, working for people who own the company. But there was a house that was pretty rough. Every single person on that crew that day threw up. It was nasty. Like, these people, it was up north, and they had these dogs that they didn't let out of the house ever, and they were 7 years old. So the first thing we did when we got there was we built them a fence so that they could put the dogs outside while we were working. but it was so.
I bet those dogs were so happy when you let them out.
Oh yeah, but they're also covered in shit, so like you can't you can't like pet them or anything. It was a mother and a daughter, and I guess they started hoarding after the dad passed. And I remember the daughter, she had like this super bad rash on her chest just from like not being cleanly, and like she would scratch it, and like they were coughing, like their coughs were so horrendous. Like I felt bad for these. Like you feel bad going into hoarding houses.
I feel like I would feel bad to an extent, and then I'd be
Yeah.
like, "You did this.
Yeah.
This is your fault." Like,
If you ever come to my place, it's always clean, and that is the reason. I'm very cleanly now.
hey, you know what? Maybe that's a good parenting technique. Maybe
Yeah.
instead of like mandatory military service, every teenager in America should have mandatory hoarding cleanup. Yeah. Just to be like, I'm never doing this again.
Well, it was funny too. Like before I started the job, like my room was always dirty. I would leave shit everywhere. I would just leave like cups, bowls, things in my room. I didn't care. And then once I started doing that job, I think there's like a Daniel Tosh joke where he goes, "How many episodes of Hoarder do you have to watch before you start cleaning up around your place?" You know? And that's exactly how I felt. Because, yeah, you're just like you see what can.
Did you ever do it where they have like the therapist there with the person and the person has to like approve like every item that gets thrown out?
That's usually like a show thing.
Yeah, normally it's just, no, we're taking it.
Normally, I would say 80% of the time that I did it, it's the house got so bad it got condemned and they had to kick the person out. Or like the family stepped in and put them somewhere else, and then they were just like, just fucking clean it. You know what I mean?
Would you ever consider just torching it and starting from scratch? Like,
I mean, yeah, if they weren't still paying off their mortgage, and we wouldn't get.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure
police.
it's whatever, arson,
Whatever.
moral
Against
grounds,
the law.
yeah, whatever. But I mean, I feel like there should just be like a, you kidding me? Like law, like, where it's like you took pictures and then you burn the house down, and when they're like, the cops are like, "Why'd you burn this lady's house down?" You just show them the picture, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay, all right, cool,
You did a good service.
Okay, tomorrow is Sam Vining Day, everybody.
Well, like that's kind of funny. Like tying into my job now, like I do property inspections and stuff. So like houses that get condemned a lot of the times, it takes so much for a city to actually be like, okay, we're gonna tear this down. Like I've inspected houses that have gone under like multiple fires because the mortgage fails at coming in to step in and like turn something off or get the utilities shut down or like resecure the house. Squatters end up in there, and they'll probably leave like a roach on the ground. And
Hot plate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I've seen houses go through multiple fires where they do not tear it down.
What about like flooding and burst pipes and all kinds of stuff? Probably all the time.
I mean, people steal pipes and sell them.
What?
What?
No.
And then like, I just imagine someone taking the pipes and then the water's just like coming in. Like, oh, I forgot to turn off the water, but I gotta get these pipes before it fills.
It's a race against time.
It's like a saw puzzle.
It's like the opposite of the like the USS Arizona when those guys in Pearl Harbor that were trapped and they were trying to work their way out. It's like crackheads trying to work their way into the trap. Like, hey, there's some copper in here, man.
We gotta get it all before it floods.
Yeah. Oh man, this really is dark.
This is why I got into comedy. I couldn't take all the shit that I deal with.
This is why I bring joy to others.
I try to.
Yeah, I'm the sad clown.
Yeah, if I don't laugh, it gets dark.
Yeah. I mean, see, that's why Oh, what's the best way to remove hoarder smells?
Sometimes you don't.
You just can't.
Sometimes those smells never go away.
Sometimes it's just in there.
There's but there was this machine that we would use. I forget what it was called, but it was kind of like a I forget what it does, but you leave it in there overnight, and it's pretty much like when they put the things over the house to like pest control and stuff.
Oh, like the tents and stuff? Yeah.
It's not that bad, but you can't be in there or it can't kill you. I forget what the fuck the machine's called. Should have looked that up before I came out.
Yeah, it's all right.
It doesn't matter, but you leave it in there, and it's like a dehumidifier almost for shit and piss smells. You know.
Well, would you just fill it full of vinegar and bleach or something and just leave it for?
It's a specific chemical. Like all these chemicals are so specific, I probably couldn't name them off the top of my head. But yeah, it's like a dehumidifier. You just leave it in there.
Yeah.
You know, it gets the smell out. And a lot of times, you come back the next day because you're supposed to do it overnight, and that's supposed to be enough. But then you come back the next day, and you're like, oh, this didn't do anything.
Oh, in fact, it's worse.
Yeah. There has been times we've had to leave it in there for a week, and then yeah, you have to pay extra for that.
I'm sorry, but your house falls under the extra stinky fee. So
it's like we can leave it stinky, or
yeah, you know how we set money aside because we knew our house stank. Well, apparently, it was really stinky.
Yeah, a lot of the hoarding stuff too. It's out of pocket a lot of the times. So that's why the family will step in and pay for it. And like that one house with the mother and daughter, they can only afford to do the first floor of the house. So like it's probably just as bad now.
They can only wait. I didn't even think about it being a 2-story house. I was just imagining
a basement. Oh,
wouldn't you want to do the top first though?
Like, that's where they live. That's where they sleep.
I mean,
but there was so much like dog shit on the first floor.
Yeah.
Because they didn't let the dogs out.
Yeah.
That was a rough house, man. That was one of the, like I said, everybody on the job threw up when we were cleaning it out. Like,
would you make fun of each other if they threw up? If someone threw up, would you be like, ah?
I understood on that one.
We used to do that in the gas chamber in the Marines.
The what?
The gas. I mean, the gas chamber. I've been in a gas chamber. Have you not been in a gas chamber?
No.
I forget that's something that like triggering for some people, but I've done it. I can make the joke.
I was like, wait, what?
No, they put you like in boot camp. They'll put you in a gas chamber, and you have your gas mask on, and then you have to take it off. And then you have to do like jumping jacks or something while there's this called CS gas, which is just like, I don't know, it's pretty mild. It's not that bad. But it does burn your eyes really bad, and it gets in your sinuses, and you can't breathe while you're in there. And then you have to put your gas mask on and like clear it out. And it's like how to practice surviving a chemical warfare attack. Anyway, but we would make fun of each other for people that would freak out in the gas chamber.
Yeah.
Because there are some people, like I remember the second time I ever did it, I took it off my gas mask and I started looking around to see which one of my buddies was going to freak out, forgetting that it burns your eyes. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, that was a bad idea, like that. And so I'm just like, sitting there, and then they were like, all right. They gave the sign to put your mask back on. I was like, that was so stupid. Oh, why did I do that? All because I wanted to watch somebody be like, ah!
That's like the equivalent of like getting pepper sprayed in the police force.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably way worse, but that's the only comparison that I can make.
I've been. It's called OC spray, and it does burn, but the more you blink, the more it helps, kind of. I mean, and then you're just supposed to pour milk in your eyes and that.
Pour milk in your eyes?
Yeah, pour milk or Johnson & Johnson's like baby shampoo. Yeah.
Oh, I get, yeah, no tears.
No tears, yeah, right. Yeah.
I was like, shampoo in your eyes.
You're like, I could watch your face go like, that's weird. Oh, no tears. Yeah, that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
And you get a, new baby smell. Oh gosh. Oh, what was the best thing you ever found in a hoarding house?
Oh, okay, this is a cool one. I still have it. It's this. It's a cavalry sword.
Oh,
so
nice.
If you come to my house, I have a 18th century cavalry.
It's literally 17th. Stolen valor, but okay, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I remember cleaning up this house, and this guy had like a bunch of like war memorabilia and stuff, and their friends were helping him clean out the house. And I remember at the end, we had put all the collectibles into one room, and the lady was like, take one thing. And I went and found the sword, and I was like, I'm going to take this. She was like, it's yours. And I still have it to this day. I kind of fuck around with it sometimes. It's fun. It's a cavalry sword.
I always wanted a sword. Once you pick up a certain rank in the Marines, you're eligible to carry a sword. And I always wanted one, but it was like $500.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, oh, I can't afford that. You know,
You're like, I really want the sword.
I still really want one.
It's like the equivalent of having like katanas on your wall.
I mean, no, not when you've earned them. No, this isn't for pretend. This is for real. Okay, if if you're a single man and a girl comes over and you have katanas or nunchucks or whatever,
a red flag.
that might be a red flag. Like, or he's just really into the Ninja Turtles or something like that. But
really
if he has
anime.
a military sword, it's like, oh, he earned this.
Yeah.
He earned the right to be
had
nerdy.
To pay $500.
He also, yes, you earn it and then you pay for it, which is everything in the Marines. Every uniform item that you earn, you immediately then have to turn around and pay for. So, I mean,
blows.
I mean,
what are our taxes doing for you guys?
like nothing. It's buying a lot of bombs. That's what our taxes do. It's a lot.
It's just strictly drone strikes.
There was so I got married. And I still had 2 years left in the Marines, and I went. I got married, and then I was on deployment. And when I came back from deployment, there was like a 3-month period where my wife couldn't move out to California yet, and I obviously couldn't.
So you were stationed in California?
Yeah, and I couldn't go back home, obviously. So I was not allowed to stay in the barracks with all the bachelor Marines because I wasn't a bachelor.
Yeah.
But then they didn't have anywhere for the married Marines to go, and they wouldn't let me just have a house on base all to myself. So they put us in these old, they were called squad bays. Like, have you seen Full Metal Jacket?
Yeah.
That's what they looked like. It was just bunk beds in a row, and the bathroom, there was no hot water.
But you were in there by yourself?
I was me and like 4 other married guys that were all waiting to
Would
either
you sleep
get out.
on the bottom bunk or the top bunk?
I had my own 2 bunks.
That's what I said. Which one did you sleep on?
Well, at first I took the top one. I was like, hell yeah, top bunk. And then I realized, like, oh no, there's 30 beds and 6 guys. Like, all right. And so then I took the bottom bunk and I would hang blankets around it and make my own little fort so I could sit there. But the only way I could charge my phone was to sit in my car every night.
Really?
So I would just have to sit in my car and wait for it to get to 100, and then I could go to sleep, and then it would last me for the day or whatever. It was the worst. But we didn't have hot water, we didn't have electricity. I know there was electricity, but there were no outlets, so you couldn't charge anything. So we had lights, and there was one giant TV that. And I say giant, meaning like not the screen, but like it was huge. It probably weighed 150 pounds, you know?
One of the ones with the backs.
Yeah, the big one of the thick TVs,
thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
Yeah, it was one of those, and that was it. But there were like dead birds in the bathroom, and
would you have an outhouse?
No, it was just all connected. It was just like there was like a brick wall that with a doorway, and you'd walk through the doorway, and there would be a bunch of shower heads like facing into the center of the room. Yeah. And you would just go get naked and just shower off. But there's no like curtain or privacy or anything. It's like you're just sitting there with...
Reminds me of high school.
6 other...
Reminds me of my time at Penn State.
That was my next question. What was the best thing about Jerry Sandusky? His soft kisses.
I had an idea about like a bit for Jerry Sandusky where it's like any question he was asked, he would just be like, well, how old are we talking? It doesn't matter the question. It's like, well, how old is...
Can I throw out these leftovers? Yeah. Well, how old are we talking?
Just any question he's ever asked.
That's terrible. What do you want for dinner? Well, how old are we talking?
Yeah. What?
That just instantly makes it creepy.
Yeah.
That's like saying, you know what I mean, after a sentence, like instantly makes it perverted or whatever.
Well, how old are we talking?
How old are we talking? What's the best way to tell if someone's a bad person?
That's a good question. Wasn't expecting
The
this.
the examples I have up there are drinking while pregnant, leaving your shopping cart in the middle of the parking lot, littering.
I see a lot of people litter, man.
That drives me nuts.
I hate it.
I hate it too.
It's like we're at a stoplight and they just throw a full bag of like Arby's out the fucking window. Like what? You can't wait for a trash can.
I've never heard of anybody like I've seen people do it and I've been like, what?
Yeah.
What is
I see it
wrong
a
with you?
lot.
What I always assume that it's by accident, like
It's not.
it flew out the window.
No,
but I've had
seen, like, people reach out and just be like, boop.
I had someone the other day admit to me they were sitting right there and they were like, I have a littering problem. I throw like 2 liters out the window sometimes, and I was just like, a 2 liter?
Yeah.
Like what? No, what?
You
can't wait for a trash can?
In the city, I see it more, but like. Also, we're in the city. We're just a cesspool. It's like
Yes, man. I don't know.
Everything around is just trash.
I hate the mentality of like, well, someone else will do it. It's like what are you talking about?
We have street cleaners for a reason.
Yeah, that's how you become. I feel like littering is the first step to hoarding.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because I know they go against each other. It's like, all right, you're throwing out trash and then you're holding on to trash forever.
Yeah.
But the whole fact of like, I just don't want to deal with it. It's someone else's problem, and then leaving it. That seems like a hoarder thing mentality to do, right?
Yeah, it's like the opposite. It's like the other end of the spectrum. You know what I mean? It's because like in hoarding houses, like a lot of times there's like a room dedicated to just trash. Or I've seen that. You know, there's like I said, there's some neat hoarders. There's some hoarders that are just oddballs.
You know what? When you said there's a trash room, I don't even know if I should say this. I think whatever. I'm going to say it anyway. We have 4 cats.
They have a trash room.
No, we do a really good job of cleaning our house, and it doesn't smell. And like that's the first thing I ask people when they come over is like, "Hey, you smell kitty litter? Like, do you smell trash or anything? Like, does it smell okay? Have we gone nose blind? Like, I'm paranoid about that." And my wife does a great job of keeping it clean and everything, right? However, we have this cat who is just evil. I don't know. I don't know. Like
He's
she's
just an asshole.
just the worst. And she will deliberately wait until everyone's like sitting down, like watching TV or eating dinner, and then she'll run into this corner of a dining room, I guess. It's like the kitchen, whatever. She'll go into the corner and just make eye contact and just shit on the floor.
What the fuck?
Yeah, right.
I thought cats needed like something to put over it.
No, I did too. But apparently she just likes to like, she just hunches and just stares us down. And just like that, and then the dog comes running towards it, so we have to like fight him back, right? So we okay. My son had we had some people over. Whatever. We had some people over recently, and we cleaned everything. Everything was good. People came over. Things were going great. This cat comes over and just starts shitting right in front of everyone, and we're just like mortified, like, oh, I can't believe this is happening right now. I can't believe this is happening right now. And my son walks in the room, and he goes, "Hey guys, Josie pooped in the poo corner," right? He called it the poo corner, like that's our designated corner for pooping, you know? And we all turned and looked, and as soon as we looked, he goes, no, not that poop corner, the other poop corner.
How many poop corners?
You're right. We were like, what are you talking about? There are guests over. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They're all looking at you like, you don't have a litter box, you savages.
We have 5 litter boxes for 4 cats. And we've been told that's not enough. We've been told we've been told there needs to be 1 litter box for each cat and 2 additional or something like that. So we need a 6th litter box.
Are they all like spread out, or are they all in the same spot?
Well, 3 of them are together, and then there's one in my daughter's bedroom where one of the cats hangs out most of the time, and then there's another one in the basement where the cats go down sometimes. Only one cat's allowed to go to the basement because she actually uses the litter box, which I have never been a cat person. And with the 4 cats, I've said this before, but like, if 3 of those cats burst into flames like spontaneously, my first thought would be like, get off the couch, you know, like, you know, but the 4th cat is, I love her to death, and I would die for her. Like, if she was on fire, I would slit my throat and be like, let me douse the flames in my blood, you know, like, whatever you need. But
I've always been more of a dog person. But I had cats and dogs growing up. Yeah. But my cats, I had one cat, but the cat was an outside cat. So, like, we didn't have to deal with it. I remember, like, he was a badass dude. He would, climb trees. I remember there was one time there was, like, a bird, like, coming down too low. He jumped out of the tree and caught it midair, and then landed on the other side of the fence, and you just heard, ah!
And then nothing.
Yeah, and then nothing.
And then silence. Yeah. Dude, the cat that I love to death, we got from the Humane Society in downtown, like, maybe 4 blocks that way or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's a rough Humane Society. It's like a city pound, like whatever. And then after that, we got these 2 cats they're Bengals, so they're like miniature tigers. Yeah. And so they're supposed to be like these jungle cats and kind of wild or whatever. Our St. Louis kitty destroys them every day, just bitches them out constantly.
It's like, come on my block?
Yeah. It's so funny to watch this tiger like stalk like a toy or like a milk ring or a rubber band or something like that, and then to just watch the city kitty just be like, bitch, like, there's so many times where I've looked over and she just got them pinned down by the neck, and they're like, I'm sorry.
She's not a stalker. Or is it? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It just big chest everybody.
Yeah. She's our city kitty. Yeah. You don't. Okay, so you said that you went to film school. Yeah. So I thought I'd ask a couple film questions in there too. Okay. Who do you think's the best director? We've got Ron Howard, Quentin Tarantino, Spike Lee, and Steven Spielberg. No, it doesn't have to be out of these 4. So I like just giving examples because a lot of times if you say that, people are like, I don't remember any director ever. But
I love out of these 4, I like Quentin a lot. You know, like, one of my favorite movie of all time is Pulp Fiction. Yeah, I was also going to say Spike Lee. I like Spike Lee.
Did you feel like you had to say Spike Lee?
Yeah, I like Spike Lee.
I like Spike Lee!
No, I've never been a huge fan of Spielberg's movies. Like, I know he's great or whatever, but, like...
It depends on the movie.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, Saving Private Ryan was fantastic. Schindler's List, pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
But...
I also
the big friendly giant, not so much, you know.
Yeah, my favorite director though is probably Kubrick. At the end of the day.
Oh really?
Yeah, I was a huge Kubrick guy.
Are you into like the conspiracies and like hidden messages he put in movies and things like that,
or do you think you're talking about like the Eyes Wide Shut?
Well, Eyes Wide Shut, but also The Shining and stuff like that. How it's like I'm
not super into it. I've read into it. And I'm just like.
Do you think it's just a bunch of bored fans who are like, oh, look at this coincidence?
I think the only one that I would give credence to is the Eyes Wide Shut one.
I don't even think I've heard of that one.
So, I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
It's like 4 hours long, and it's all about Tom Cruise having sex with like a bunch of people. Like I remember seeing it, but it was like, I think I was too young to get it.
There's like, he goes to this like orgy with all these like powerful people,
like you do.
Yeah, like you do. Well, he like snuck in because his wife admitted that she had like thoughts about cheating on him or whatever. So he's like, well, I'm gonna go fuck something. Yeah. And he had this.
That's funny.
But but the whole. conspiracy is more like he hints at all these powerful things. Like there's things in it that can the Freemasons like there's like hints to that in there that they like control stuff and like all these other things. And they think because he died before the movie came out that people that were higher up saw the movie, saw what it could do to like enhance these ideals, so they killed him for it. But also he was like how old at the time? Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And like pretty obese, right?
Yeah,
Like,
he was a big man.
yeah, and he was like an avid cigarette smoker and drinker.
He was
and
very unhealthy.
Cocaine. And,
I mean, yeah, you see him in his final form. He didn't look great.
This isn't even my final form. I have become Ultra Kubrick. Didn't he do like complex math equations for fun?
Yes.
That's pretty wild.
He was a weird man, but I like him a lot. I have a book, I have like a biography about him that I like reading sometimes.
What do you think about Christopher Nolan?
I think he's over. I don't know. I think he's a dumbass. No.
I fucking hate him, man.
I still haven't seen Oppenheimer because I was so disappointed in Tenet.
Tenet? Yeah, okay.
I hated Tenet. I didn't really like Inception that much. I think like
I loved Inception. When it first came out, I loved Inception. And so when Tenet came out, I was really excited thinking it was going to be another one of those. Mm-hmm. And it's good if you can follow it.
I followed it to the point where I was like pointing out like, well, if this is the law, this shouldn't be happening. Like this can't happen according to how you're setting it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You broke your own laws.
Yeah, there's a lot of flaws in the movie, but I think overall I like Christopher Nolan. Like I like Memento a lot.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I love all the Batman movies.
The last one wasn't that great.
The last one wasn't that great, but like Heath Ledger's.
Well, yeah,
Joker.
yeah. That came out like my junior year of high school and was the biggest movie that had ever existed.
Yeah.
You know,
it was. I mean, that one was definitely the best.
Mm-hmm. I actually, to be fair, I didn't really like the Batman in those Batman movies.
You thought was it the voice or?
No, I mean I understood the voice. Mm-hmm. I wish they would have done it differently. Mm-hmm. When I found out that Christian Bale wasn't trying to change his voice, they just did it for him in post. I was like, oh, that sucks. He didn't even really. Yeah, I guess he tried to make it a little more gruff, but he didn't really disguise it. And then in the first movie, in post, they adjusted it, so it was like, you know, and.
That's kind of dumb.
I feel like I was like, I wish they would have given him a shot to do it his way.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he would have done pretty well.
I think that's all like Christopher Nolan's vision for it too.
So the thing about Batman, I liked him because he was good at like solving crimes and like piecing things together. Mm-hmm. I thought that aspect was cool, but he's not very good at like fighting and stuff. And I think that's a big part of Batman is like, you gotta be able to fight, you know. Yeah. And he kind of just like, grr, 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 grr. It's all very like blocky and like.
Yeah,
it's not.
He's also just like he's a little dude comparatively. You know, to like Bane.
Yeah, and Bane is so far. Bane was supposed to be Spanish and like huge. They've still never done Bane right.
Yeah, and it's just Tom Hardy who's like 5'4".
And a bit of a dreamboat, even with the mask on.
Even with the mask on, I give him a smooch.
Yeah, but I didn't like. I don't know. The last one really. I mean, you're right. The second one with the Joker was awesome, but I read something recently that people voted Ben Affleck as the worst Batman.
Oh yeah, I hated that when they announced that. I was like, this is gonna suck.
I mean, I remember thinking that when they announced it, but I didn't think he was the worst. I think
he was. Compared to Christian Bale and Michael Keaton.
But we're also forgetting about Val Kilmer. We're forgetting about George Clooney.
I guess that's true, yeah.
You're forgetting about Adam West. Not a good Batman.
I think Ben Affleck is still worse than Adam West. I'll give Adam West over.
I don't think Ben Affleck got a fair shot. I don't think because he was forced to do. He never got a solo Batman movie. It was always a collab movie. Like it was always, and that one scene in Batman vs Superman, the warehouse scene,
Yeah.
that was awesome. Do you remember that? He's trying to save Superman's mom, and
yeah.
he's just like, it was that scene. I remember watching that and being like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, but no,
I was so awestruck by like the Christopher Nolan ones that when like all those like Justice Leagues, Batman vs Superman.
Oh yeah, well it's
out.
also, I mean, it's Zack Snyder, man.
Yeah, you gotta give him some.
All right, I'm trying to stop saying the phrase "hot take" because I've been saying it a lot lately. But
give me your hot take.
yeah, Zack Snyder, great cinematographer, bad director.
Yeah.
Is that? I don't think that's. I mean, that's probably not that much of a hot take, but his movies look like visually they look great.
Yeah.
Like, have you watched Rebel Moon? It's his Star Wars.
I don't think so.
Okay, it's on Netflix. It just came out, but I watched it, and there's a lot of parts where there's like a lot of action scenes and stuff where I'm like, this looks really cool, like slow motion and you know all kinds of like flames and explosions and stuff like that. And I was like, that's kind of cool. But then the plot and the acting and the writing is just like, all right, man. Yeah.
I mean, and like writing and stuff isn't always a director's problem.
No, that's not. Yeah.
It. But like, if you see a scene and someone's like acting like shit, as a director, you should be like, hey, maybe get your shit together.
I always wonder about that. I always wonder how much, because like once a actor becomes a star, it's like how much are you allowed to
talk shit on them? I mean, it depends on what status of director.
Like, let me just like Sydney Sweeney is not a good actress.
No,
she's not. She's
got
just,
two things
she's
that everybody likes.
She's just the it girl right now. She is. I just don't. I mean, like, but do you think as a director you could be like, hey, you got to get it together, like, or is she gonna be like, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am right now? Do you know that? You don't understand.
I think. I mean, it's always the director, and like a lot of movies that she's been in, I don't think have been directed by anybody with super high praise.
No,
it's like she's doing shitty comedy movies and.
Rom-coms and
she was on Euphoria, which that was like that guy's first show.
I can't believe that that's a show. I can't believe that they made that. Like that is so wild to me. Just a show about I mean, they're all 15 and 16 years old, and it's all like drugs and sex and alcohol. And it's like,
I mean, what was your high school days like?
Not that. Not that.
I mean, I never got fucked in the ass by my friend's dad or anything. But...
I mean, not with that attitude.
Not with that attitude. I mean, yeah, there was like one mom we were all trying to get on, but you know, that was never a thing.
Yeah, but how old?
Yeah, I mean, 16. Yeah. 12.
I don't know, dude. That Euphoria show blows my mind, and everybody loves it. And then they're like, "Oh, Hollywood's not full of pedophiles." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Did you watch Euphoria?
It's right there.
I didn't like that show either. My ex watched it, and I was just like, whatever.
My favorite thing that's come out recently is that the Nickelodeon documentary, where there's the producers talking about sleeping with all of these underage child stars and stuff, and the only thing people are talking about is like, but the documentary's not really good. Yeah, like it's not like
it's not
like a great documentary. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of already know everything that's already happened. It's like. You guys are missing the point, right?
It's about like, a lot more than that.
Yeah, like, well, I think it's nominated for a Razzie, so I don't know if I'm going to...
Oh, did you see the guy who made Euphoria's second show? It has, like, Johnny Depp's daughter in it.
Oh, no.
It's literally just, like, every episode there's a scene with her masturbating, and, like, The Weeknd's in it, and he's, like, a toxic male who just, like... There's, like, a scene, I'm pretty sure, where she is talking to her friend, and she's, like... He's kind of like controlling and like really toxic, and like Johnny Depp's daughter's like, yeah, but I kind of like it. It's like super weird. And I was like, oh, you went from a little crazy to really fucked up.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, how do you follow that? Like you that's like that open mic comic that has like one controversial idea that he
Yeah.
throws out and people chuckle. He's like, "Oh, you guys like that one?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
go all the way, yeah.
Yeah. What about this?" And everybody's like, "What?
His,
Yeah.
his next show is probably going to be about Dan Schneider. It's just going to be like behind the scenes of Victorious and iCar.
Sydney Sweeney is Dan Schneider.
Sydney Sweeney.
Why don't you go to my trailer?
Why don't you wear open-toed shoes today?
We're gonna have you lick applesauce off her feet. You guys want to get slimed? No, Dan, no. Shut up, Drake. Get back to work. That's terrible, dude.
That's the only way he can go on from that, you know?
Yeah. Oh man.
But he wants it to be hot. Oh, what is this?
They all want it to be hot. Best cheap beer. We did this recently. I also like Stag and Bush, which aren't on there, but I don't even really like Miller that much. But I just googled a picture of cheap beer.
Cheap beer? Does Coors Banquet count as cheap beer?
I think so.
I like Coors Banquet a lot. That's like my favorite beer. Also, like really cheap beer. Dude, I'm gonna get trash for a second. I like Natty Light.
Yeah. When I was younger, you could get a 30-pack of Natty Light for like $11. That was a good night.
It's
That and Keystone.
It's still like only $15.
I know.
It hasn't gone up that much.
Yeah. I'm not like I was gonna say how we got it, but then I was like, no.
Yeah, maybe I won't incriminate anybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
also, yeah, I'm not gonna teach my kids how to score underage.
I mean, I was the oldest, so I never had like an older brother. But I remember I bought beer for my brother one time, and my dad the next day, he was like, "Yeah, him and his buddies had a good time last night." I went downstairs and they were just singing John Denver songs. I was like,
but at what age?
He was like 16.
No, just the Jerry Sandusky thing. Just trying to bring it back.
How young?
Oh, how young?
How old were they?
That would have been funny if your dad called you the next day. He was like, "Yeah, I went down. Your brother was singing John Denver songs. I think he's gay." I don't know how to tell you this, but I think
all him and his friends are gay.
Yeah, they say they had Country Roads on repeat for like an hour and a half. I don't know. Coors Light isn't. I like Coors Light too. I really don't care. I don't feel like I drink enough to have a beer.
I like Banquet. I like Budweiser. If someone brings something, I'm gonna drink it.
I don't like I think the only problem I have with Coors is the little stubby bottles.
I love the stubby bottles.
You love the stubby?
I feel like I'm holding a grenade.
Well, someone who's held a grenade. That's not what it is. It would be cool if that's what they felt like, I guess. I mean, if I was going to have to make a Molotov cocktail, I'd probably use the stubby bottles. I feel like that would be a good...
I feel like it would be easier.
Yeah, it would hold the rag better because of the little top.
You can also get them in a can. Like, you don't have to have the
Yeah,
stubby
I know.
bottles.
I know you can. I know, Sam.
Stubby bottles are just classic.
They're classy. Now that I think about it, though, yeah, if I did have to throw a beer bottle, I would probably pick a stubby to throw.
Yeah.
You know?
They're solid. They're like little...
In case of emergency,
Yeah.
it would be good to have a palm-sized...
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
you can do
little
some
Molotov,
yeah. Just a smash.
Dude, and they're thick bottles too. Like, they actually have some weight on them compared to like the next.
I don't know. So I don't know why I just thought of this, but when I was in the Marines, I had a buddy who we had a code for if we were out drinking and things were about to go bad, like a fight was going to break out or something. He would say "Schnickel Fritz," and if you heard that, it meant just flip the table, hit somebody, and run.
Yeah,
because it means like, hey, we're about to get surrounded, or like, hey, this isn't good, or
when you guys were like out drinking. Like,
yeah. So it never happened. It never came to that. We never had to call Schnickel Fritz seriously. There was a couple times where things were getting fritzy out, but we weren't fully dedicated. But that was always the code. And now that I think about it, if I would have had a stubby and someone would have said Schnickel Fritz, I mean, I would have just
Yeah. Right across someone's face.
Flip the table.
They probably wouldn't have even broke. It would just like CTE or something.
It's frozen.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What is that, a rock?
No, I'm a banquet guy all the way though.
Yeah.
I love those stubby bottles.
I feel like that's a classy answer.
It is classy.
Cheap, yeah. Cheap. If you're going cheap beer,
I'm
go
classy
banquet.
trash. That's the best way to describe me.
You're middle class trash.
Yeah, middle class trash.
That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the backbone of America. Wait, I had some more. I thought I had some more movie questions in there because I wanted to know about.
This is a gay question. What's the best scent combination?
Hey, you don't have a scent you'd like your house to smell like when you walk in?
Cigarettes and beer, I
Not
guess.
dead cats and old war memorabilia. That is kind of crazy that you found that you cleaned out somebody's house and you took his like. You took his like.
I looked it up too. I could sell it for like $5,000 apparently.
Yeah. Okay. Just this poor man. So I'm assuming the guy like died.
He's dead now for sure.
Oh, for sure now, but like at the time.
2017.
Imagine leaving for the day. Like your daughter shows up, takes you out to like Six Flags, and then when you come back, there's a bunch of teenagers scooping out your living room with shovels.
So he had to go into a home, I think. So like that house was so big. It was like a house in Holly Hills. I probably shouldn't have said that, but it's a nice area. And
you know who you are.
Yeah, you know who you are, motherfucker. No, he's dead.
Yeah.
But
he was the guy who split in half in the pool.
Yeah. He came back later with his family and just jumped right off.
I miss my sword.
I miss my sword.
That's all you hear. I miss my sword.
Well, he had like he had so much shit. Like he had old guns and stuff too. They said we couldn't take the guns. That was like illegal. Whatever that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
I thought we could just have guns.
What about this one? It's all the numbers have been filed off.
Yeah.
Can I have this?
I didn't file them off. They've just been filed off.
I bought it like this. It's a collector's item.
But I forget what the original question was.
No, I was just saying, like, I don't know. I think there would be part of me that would love cleaning out a hoarding house just because I'd be so excited to see what I found. You know, like what's behind the chair? It's either it's either a dead cat or the jewel from the end of Titanic. You know? You're like, I thought the old lady threw it in the ocean.
A lot of times it's not like that.
You mean it's not treasure?
Yeah.
You mean
that was the only house where the guy had like cool stuff.
Everything else was sad.
Everything else was sad, like shit piss corners. You know what I mean?
You know,
it was just trash, and like. That guy just collected cool stuff, but every other house I went to wasn't really like that. There was one house I actually did clean out. This is actually kind of an interesting story, I guess. Okay. He was an old photographer for when the football team was the Cardinals.
Oh, cool.
So he had all this photography, stuff like that, and he had these newspapers from when JFK got assassinated, like all these old newspapers of that day. So I have a couple of them, like, just laying around.
Oh, nice. Thought you were going to say he had them, like, in a room and there's, like, strings leading to the Arizona Cardinals killed JFK.
Yeah, there's, like, a room. It's just the scene from NCIS.
Laces out, Dan.
Laces out.
No, I feel like there's gonna be like 3 other people in the world that will get that reference.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Reference. But yeah, he had like a bunch of cool stuff. I took his light table too because I was like trying to get into photography, and then I just used it to like smoke dabs on because I was like, oh, when you blow the smoke out, it looks so cool.
My speaking of JFK, he was killed on my dad's like 7th birthday or something like that. Yeah. It was during my dad's birthday party. Like they were all, I think he said they were about to like cut cake and open presents. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, like his dad came out of the house and was like, we got to get everybody home. Somebody killed the president. Like that. And it was like, yeah.
Have you ever heard like stories about people who were born on like 9/11 and like how they're like really cursed and they end up dying super young?
God, no, I haven't heard about that at all. But
I think it was just one case. Like this girl was like born on 9/11. She died.
it's just one. It happened to one person. Have you heard about the curse?
Have you heard about the curse of
The
9/11?
curse! Yeah. My buddy Mark Hukin, shout out Mark. His birthday is September 11th, but he was born in 1990. So, yeah.
Rough.
Yeah.
It's gotta be a rough birthday.
Yeah.
Like everyone's sad. And it's my birthday
He
today.
he did comedy for a while. He had a good joke about it. About how he said something about like it's my 11th birthday and I wake up and the two buildings that look like an 11 are smoking like two big candles just to say happy birthday, Mark. So every year when it's his birthday, I'll text him. We'll be like, happy birthday, buddy. It's almost bound to be better than your 11th.
Yeah, every birthday from there just goes up.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, hey, there wasn't a massive tragedy this year. I guess I should be happy.
Yeah. Best meal for under $10?
Ugh.
Ugh. Why did you say that? Like,
I'm like, I don't know.
I never spend more than $10 on a meal. Are you kidding me?
Dude, it's so hard to do this now.
I know.
It's so hard. What can I get for under $10? Like a full meal. Oh fuck. I don't know, like nuggies.
Yeah, that's pretty much
Chicken
it.
nuggets.
I mean,
I don't know.
My answer is rotisserie chicken for sure.
Oh, that's a good one.
Because you can get a full bird for like $6, $7.
Yeah, when I'm thinking like a meal, I'm thinking like the meat, taters, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like a full thing, like a full plate.
Well, what I consider meal is whatever leaves me full afterwards. I'm not talking about a well-balanced diet.
Yeah.
All right? I'm talking about
if that's the case.
How do I feed the engine, you know?
Yeah,
like,
that's fair. I mean, I'll go to QT in the mornings and get like they have these like jalapeno corn dogs.
oh my gosh.
They're so good.
That's how you start your day?
Yeah.
That's how I can tell you're still in your 20s. If I started my day with jalapeno corn dogs, I'd be like, I can't make it. I'm so sick. I usually only eat one meal a day, but it'll be 3 gramophone sandwiches.
It'll be 3 gramophone sandwiches at night at 1 a.m.
I mean, hey.
I usually don't eat, like I'll eat something in the morning and then I'll starve myself till dinner.
Yeah.
It's not even like starving, I'm just not hungry.
Yeah. And then I starve. I waste away.
Yeah. And then I'll end up going with like comedians out after that, and then I'll be like, why am I eating at 1 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, and you hate yourself.
Why am I at Buttery's right now?
Yeah, when I woke up this morning, I was like, why? Oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Did you eat all those sandwiches?
Yeah. I got home, I threw them under the broiler just to warm them up a little bit, and then sat down and...
Oh, I'm so glad I didn't get a sandwich last
I
night.
watched X-Men and ate gramophone sandwiches.
Well, yeah, I like platypus and stuff too. I got chicken and fries last night. I was like, there's no way I'm going to Gramophone and eating.
You told me that. I was like, Gramophone? You're like, I just ate. I was like, oh, that sucks. And then fast forward 20 minutes.
Yeah. Like, all right, I'll go drink. They have a pool table there. I like pool.
Which, I kicked your ass, by the way.
I fucking scratched on the 8-ball. You didn't kick my ass.
Did I win?
Did I win?
Did I win?
All right.
But at what age? Should be
but
the
how
time.
young?
But how young? I don't know why I keep screwing that up. Movie with the best soundtrack. There we go.
Ooh, this is a good one. Movie with the best soundtrack.
Which I asked this question recently with Joe Tillman, and he said Star Wars. And I want to clarify something.
That is so dumb.
That's not a soundtrack. That is a score.
Okay,
Those are songs written for that movie. That's not...
Two movies come to mind.
Okay.
And the first one, Pulp Fiction again. The second one, which is probably the winner, is Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
They have a killer soundtrack.
Have you ever watched Dazed and Confused and done the drinking game with it?
No, what is it?
Where every time the the kid.
Yeah.
Every time he touches his face, you have to take
Oh,
a drink.
really?
Yeah, because he does it.
That's like his acting thing.
I remember looking it up once, and he did it. He does it like 78 times in the movie. Yeah, like every scene, every shot is him like like that. And there's another one. There's another. I don't know. There was one that was just like, take a drink every time Ben Affleck sucks or something like that. Dude, it does make me laugh at how much hate Ben Affleck gets for everything, because he's not like a bad guy. I don't think
he just plays like. I think once he played that role, everyone was just like, "Oh, this guy's the dick."
Yeah,
you know, he gets the.
You're that.
He gets pegged as that, and like. A lot of actors. That happens to so many actors.
They all think he's still the stupid guy from Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
They're like, he's Matt Damon's stupid friend. Yeah. He's like, nah, guys, it was just a role.
Dumb friend.
Yeah.
Fucking dumb.
Retainer. Yeah. He's like, no, I'm Batman. Are you?
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. It'd be funny if that was the voice.
I wish he would have had his Boston accent as Batman.
Yo, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. Commissioner. Yo, commish. The two worst Boston accents I've ever heard.
I can't do a Boston accent.
I can't even. If I hear it, I have one of those. I have that thing where, like, if I hear someone doing an accent, I can mimic it.
You can do it a little bit
but
better,
I can't come up with it on my own.
Yeah.
I'm a parrot. I'm not a...
Ma.
Ma, get the car. You just replace all the R's with H's. Yeah. Dunkin' Donuts and coffee and Bill Burr and
Bah. Sound like a sheep now.
Yeah. Do you want to go to the bar? No, Dazed and Confused is a great movie. Yeah. It's crazy to look at that movie and look at how many like actors in it are like stars now that started out as.
I mean, I forget who wrote that movie, but he's a really good writer, and just like I don't think
Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, no, it
wasn't.
But the way he brings everything together, and just like that's like the best high school movie, and the most realistic in my opinion. Like. Some people will say like Superbad is really good, but it's like I don't think that's
not realistic. It is really good. It is a super funny movie, but it's not
hilarious.
It's not a realistic high school experience. I mean,
I think that's what I'm trying to get to the point of. It's like I think Dazed and Confused has the best like high school experience. Some of the best dialogue in any movie. Like if you just like listen to their conversations, like they're like real conversations.
Yeah, that's true.
That anyone could have. Like the dude, I always think about the two dudes and the girl with the red hair. Like their conversations are so funny because like that would be something that I would have said in high school.
I'm trying to.
You know like when the guy who's like trying to like he's like getting hyped up to fight the dude at the end because he like was like talking shit to him or something.
Oh yeah.
But they like cut to them and they're not really like big characters in the movie, but like I loved every time that they cut to them just because of like what they were talking about. And I can't think of like a fucking dialogue thing from it, but they're so like I'm gonna rewatch it now and just think about them.
Yeah, Aaron and I were talking about Dazed and Confused because Aaron Porter is a huge Matthew McConaughey fan.
Really?
So I was trying to ask him, is Dazed and Confused a Matthew McConaughey movie? Or is it a movie with Matthew McConaughey?
It's a movie with Matthew McConaughey.
But it could also be a Matthew McConaughey. I mean, it is his breakout role, right? Like it was one of his first. It was like that and Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something like that. And it could be. I mean,
who has the most scenes in that movie?
Probably that kid. I don't even know that kid's name.
I don't know where the fuck that kid is,
or who,
or what even his name is. But
he's probably at home like, they don't know me.
Yeah, they don't know my fucking name.
Come on, man. My name's Jason.
No, I mean, he was definitely the star of the movie.
Well, no, that like, London guy, Jack.
The quarterback.
Yeah, that wasn't he the main character? He hangs out with McConaughey too.
It's hard to pinpoint like a main character of that movie because there's so many like different stories.
Yeah, there's so many things going on at the same time.
But that's why it's such a good movie too. It's like that's why it's like the high school experience.
Yeah, I like it because it didn't give too much screen time to any one person.
Yeah,
it was like it kept it going.
They had its main people, but yeah, I mean, it's not a Matthew McConaughey movie though. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna go on record as saying that.
I am taking a stand.
Yeah.
Let it be noted.
Matthew McConaughey, that is not your movie.
One of my favorite McConaughey movies, and I only bring it up is because we just talked about it the other day. Reign of Fire. Have you seen Reign of Fire?
I don't think so. No.
You never seen Reign of Fire? Oh
so.
my gosh! Christian Bale, Matthew McConaughey, Gerard Butler, dragons, dude. It's in present day England, and dragons have taken over the world. They came out of hibernation, and now Matthew McConaughey and Christian Bale have to go and find the like alpha dragon and kill it. And it's fantastic.
You ever like hear an explanation of a movie and you're just like, how the fuck did that get made?
Oh, it got made, sir. It got made.
The script must be amazing.
It's you know what? It's not, but it is a fun movie. It is super cool.
Yeah.
They have a helicopter, and they have people that like jump out. They jump out of the helicopter, and the dragons chase them. And then they all like shoot nets and try to like catch it and then pull parachutes or whatever. And it's like,
you're really making me not want to watch this.
No, dude, it's so good. It's so good. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch this. Forget what I said.
I'm just like listening to this. I'm just like, I really don't know if I want to see that.
I texted my daughter earlier and told her that I was gonna talk with you. And that you used to clean up crime scenes and horror. And she literally just texted me. And I said, do you have any questions you want me to ask? And she goes, is it cool? What's the weirdest thing you've seen? So.
What's the weirdest thing I've seen?
Which I think we've pretty much already covered. But I just think it's funny that she was like, is it cool?
Is it
to
cool?
clean up dead bodies? Yeah, babe.
It's kind of sad. The weirdest thing, it's like that's the weirdest thing. I don't even know what would be considered weird. I can tell you about, like, sad things.
There's lots of sad things.
I think the face was probably the weirdest thing. There was this is kind of weird. There was one house where you go on the street, and once I got into my car, I could smell decomposing corpse.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's why it got found, because he just died in his house. And there were all these flies in the house, and they were, like, eating at his, like, it was maggots that turned into flies from his body.
Oh, fun.
And so you just walk around the house, there's little poop, 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 poop from flies that were born in blood. And they just, like, touched the walls everywhere. So, like, that was probably one of the worst jobs I ever had.
Oh,
where it was like you had to go in and find every little dot of blood that the fly had spread and, like, clean it out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good.
I don't know if that's weird. That's kind of gross, but...
Yeah. I'll make sure to tell my kids about that. Thanks, man. That's awesome.
What's the weirdest thing?
Yeah.
The flies?
The flies. You ever seen flies come out of a human?
Yeah. That was a pretty gross job, too. Well, like, I used to try to do this as a joke, but it was like, yeah, we used to wear N95 mask and, like, a full biohazard suits. Like, I had to wear all that.
Before it was cool.
Yeah, before it was cool. I got the start on that, so, like, yeah, I remember, like, having to wear a mask and being like, God, this sucks. It just reminds me of, like, cleaning out all these pieces of shit houses.
That's so funny. Well, it's not funny, but what if like you had like legit PTSD from that job,
Yeah.
and that mask like was triggering for you, and then the
really
pandemic
was.
happens, and you're like, ah!
That was literally what it was, because every time I would put it on, I would just, like, I wouldn't actually smell it, but, like, in my brain, I'd be like, oh, like, I'm supposed to be smelling dead, rotting corpse right now.
You hear flies buzzing,
Yeah, I'm like,
that
oh.
aren't there. Don't land on me.
Yeah, there were still flies in that house too. So, like, at the end of the day, there was like
surely
flies on, like, fly dots on our suits.
Ugh.
I was like, why didn't they bring an exterminator in first? But then I was like, oh yeah, we have to clean up the crime scene first, or the blood and.
Meh.
Well, and that guy apparently got so like when dead bodies, they bloat.
Yeah.
And this guy, like, opened
Oh, he burst.
Yeah, he
yeah,
burst.
you got a burster. Like
And that's
like
the,
a microwave sausage, just
yeah,
kind of pop the casing. Huh?
that's the worst to clean up because you can't always see it because it's a lot of times it's not just blood. There's like I forget what it's called. There's like a certain type of liquid
Bile.
yeah, it's dude. Start throwing up.
Oh man, I could use some more coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it! What was I gonna say? Oh, there's something about. Oh, you said you went. So you went to cinematography school to be like you did writing, right?
I went to film school. I studied under a guy who was a writer, director, producer, and he pretty much taught me how to write scripts. I wrote 2 scripts while I was in school, and I kind of just learned how to direct and like what I learned like a lot just about film in general. Like I would actually have to like read chapters, take quizzes on the chapters and things like that, and just learn about. It's really about like guerrilla filmmaking, which is just like just doing whatever you can to make a film.
it's so funny that like your work life started with cleaning up suicides, and then you got into writing and directing, and so it's like, oh, you get to see where this ends up. You know, like normally writers do it the opposite. They learn how to write and then they die and kill themselves. You know, you got to start. You got to see the you got to see the last chapter of the book before you wrote it. Is that too dark?
I'm still here.
It's all right. Never mind. I can't say that.
Say
it. I had a family member who was a writer, and he checked himself out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of it comes full circle.
Well, have you ever read the book Confederacy of Dunces?
I have not.
That's my favorite book of all time, and the writer killed himself because he couldn't get it published originally. He couldn't get it published and killed himself because no one wanted to publish his book. And then, like 10 years later, after his suicide, his mom published the book and ended up winning like a Pulitzer Prize.
Womp womp.
Womp womp.
Womp womp.
Dumb bitch.
Stupid bitch. That's like all those painters and stuff that. What was that one guy that he knew his paintings were gonna be great, but nobody liked them, and then he died, and like 15 years later they were priceless paintings. You know,
maybe Van Gogh.
Probably.
Van Gogh only sold like 3 paintings during his lifetime, and I think they were all to his brother because he was trying to help his brother out.
Oh yeah, and Edgar Allan Poe or whatever died like face down in a gutter or something like.
Yeah, art is sad.
Yeah, dude.
Everyone's like, "Oh, these great artists!" Like they were all depressed as hell.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
They were all the most depressed. Like if you would have hung out with those guys, you'd have been like, "God, he's a fucking Debbie Downer, man."
Dude. Don't invite Edgar. He's a tough hang, man.
Yeah,
like,
he's a tough hang. You just talk about ravens and darkness.
I forgot where I was the other day, but I was hanging out. I was at a comedy show. Ronaldo and I were sitting there talking, and this guy came up and he was like, I was really mad when Norm Macdonald died without telling anybody because that's what I wanted to do. I was like, what? He's like, I just like, I got some bad news recently, and I just like, I always thought that like, if I checked out without telling anybody, it would be super cool. I'm like, my first instinct as a comic was like, well, yeah, but people like Norm.
Yeah.
But then I was like, no, I better not. I better not say this.
Yeah, but people like them. They don't want to get sad about it.
Yeah, but people.
Well, sometimes people just die and they don't know that they're gonna die either.
I mean, I would rather die and not know it was coming, wouldn't you?
Maybe. I feel like I would want to know it's coming because then I'm just like, I would do anything. Then I would be like, well, I'm going to die anyway.
I can see the pros and cons of it.
It's like, if I die without knowing and I've spent like my last day like at work or like just like trying to penny save, like I would go out and just blow all my money on like shit I want to do. I would get back on drugs.
Well, see, here's the thing. I feel like because you would definitely burn brighter than your fuse. You know what I mean? And so there would be that, like, come to Jesus moment where you woke up the next morning, you're like, now I'm hungover and I'm still dying. Like, like, like it would be fun in the moment. You'd be like, I'm dying. Let's party.
Dude,
woo! And then, but like 12, 15 hours later, you're going to be like, oh man, I'm dying. Like, see, I would like that. Just walk across the street and smack, someone lands on you
Well, I
from
guess it depends on like
rooftop
are we
bar.
talking about like, oh, I'm about to die of cancer and like it's going to be a long, hard process, or is it just like, oh, I know I'm going to get shot in the face tomorrow? Like it's just
what,
gonna be.
I mean, what would you rather have? Best case scenario.
Best case scenario, it's like if I know there's a time and a place where I'm going to get shot in the face.
Well, yeah,
then
but
just
then
burn
you would
bright.
try to not go to that time and place, though, right? Would you? Do you
If
think
I
that
knew
you
that-
have? If somebody came to you and they're like, Sam, you're gonna live for another 60 years. You get a pretty good run at life, right? You're making it to almost 90 probably at that point, but you have to be at the corner of Broadway and Walnut at 6:45 p.m. on Friday, September 27th.
I'm like late.
Oh yeah. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, there was traffic.
I had to get a coffee.
The guy with the gun sitting there, like, oh, come on. He has to listen to some guy's mixtape. Yeah, which, by the way, thank you. If you hadn't stopped for coffee. Shout out to my boy Esau Reverb Nation, which may or may not be his name.
He don't even know.
Dude, I'm so jealous of the confidence of a homeless black man.
Yeah.
Because I've had so many ideas pitched to me while I'm standing outside waiting for podcast guests.
Yeah.
And it's like it's all of these businesses that have not
Comedians are almost
or
never on
will
time.
never exist. But I have a business and a podcast and social, and I never promote it. Ever.
I don't even promote that I'm a comedian.
Yeah, I get off stage. Somebody told me this. I was talking about this with you outside, I think. I got off stage the other night. There was like 500 people there. I not once said like, hey, follow me online. Hey, I got a podcast you can check out. I just like, hey, I hope you guys like my jokes. And then I got off stage and somebody's like, hey, why didn't you plug your stuff? I was like, shit. But then like every drunk person I've ever met will come up to you and be like, hey, man, I got a mixtape out. You want to listen to it?
Some homeless guy that spun out.
Some homeless guy carrying a Crawford wine. My favorite part was that it looked like red wine and chocolate milk mixed together, and the
Dude,
cork was
what a
floating in the
mixture.
bottle. And he was just vibing out. We couldn't find his music anywhere. First of all, because he didn't remember what his name was.
Which is
Second
so
of
funny.
all,
That's such a bad pitch. You'd be like, hey, follow my music. It's like, wait,
hey,
what's my
follow
name
me.
again?
I'm Top Dog. I'm Top Gun. Actually, you know what? Get on Google and search Esau.
He was just so spun out. He thought he was in a studio when he was just like in an alley, like singing.
It definitely, all of the sounds definitely sounded like he just like held his phone up and was like, yeah, girl, yeah, like that.
That's rap now.
Yeah, that's jazz, baby.
That's jazz, baby.
Yeah, it's just him making mouth trumpet.
He doesn't even have a beat. Yeah, it's just him with his mouth.
Yeah, you're like, is that the Jurassic Park theme song?
I don't know.
Yeah, all right. We killed the riff. It's okay.
I'm mad at that.
Let's see if I got one more in there. What's the best way to show you trust somebody? I like asking this to guys because I feel like guys don't have a lot of people they trust.
Mm-mm.
I've asked this to a couple of women, and they're like, well, if I talk to you and and it's like a long list of things, and guys are like,
Yeah.
if I let you
The
drive
best
my
way
car?
for me to show that I trust
Yeah.
somebody. Yeah, driving my car is a good one.
That was what I came up with. If I let you drive my car, I trust you.
That is a good one. I don't know. It's like the best way to show that I trust somebody is like, I don't know. I tell you about my problems.
Ew.
Ew. No, because if I get drunk, I'll tell anybody. But
Yeah. Whenever anybody gets drunk, they're
yeah.
like, can you believe what she said to me?
Man, I don't know. Best way to show that I trust someone, I think the car thing's a good one. I don't really have a good answer for this. I don't really trust anybody, and no
Yeah.
one should trust me.
I would almost prefer if people didn't a little bit.
I try to buy things for people too. Like, I'll be like, hey, like, I'll cover you this time. And, like, that's me trusting that maybe next time you'll get me back. That's my thought process.
How many times has that worked?
Never.
I was about to say, with comedians?
I bought like 2 pizzas at Stan's like last week. And one of the comedians was like, "Damn, man, you must be rich or something." And I'm like, "It's pizza."
They're not even like good pizzas. They're frozen. They're like Tony's frozen pizzas.
We're just all drunk.
Yeah. And people ate them while you were on stage. And then everybody was like, "Oh, sorry, man. I thought it was the other guy's pizza. They thought it was someone else's." And they were like, "Oh, fuck that guy." So just ate all his pizza.
I was like, I guess I'll buy another one. Then everyone ate from that one too.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, no, there's certain people where, like, I might buy, like, if Ronaldo was at a bar, I'd be like, "Hey, you want to get a drink?" I'd buy him a beer. But there's a couple people where I'm like, if I buy you a drink, I'm never going to get a drink in return. Like,
yeah, for sure. And I'm kind of trying to figure out, especially, like, being newer to the scene, just, like, who can I trust? Who wants this? What are their things?
That is very interesting. I don't want to talk too much about comedy because I know people get bored when, I don't know, if you're not into comedy, you don't give a shit, you know. Yeah. But when I started, that was hard because I thought everybody that was going to open mics really wanted to do comedy.
Yeah.
I thought, I was like, oh, everyone here is a comedian, wants to be a comedian. That's what we're doing. That's the goal. And then you come to find out, like, oh, no. Some people are just bored.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to join a bowling league, so they go to open mics on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
You know, like.
And I didn't get, like, why people were so standoffish at first. Like, I remember the first time I went to Funny Bone, and I tried to talk to somebody, and they just literally turned the other way. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, okay, this is comedy, I guess.
Yeah, that's comedy, man. That's jazz, baby.
But it's also like, I never saw that guy again. I think it's people who are like just starting out thinking like they're going to be the big shit are like really standoffish. Whereas like people who've been in it for a while and understand, like if they understand that you are really serious about it, they'll be nice to you.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's more so like, yeah, the most shit I've ever received from someone is someone who's like been in it for maybe a little bit longer than me. And then they're like, oh, this guy thinks he can do comedy.
Yeah, well, there's that. It's also like, you ever watch like those old World War II movies where like the new guys show up and all the vets like hate them or whatever? It's like, because we've watched so many new guys die and stop doing it. That it's like, I don't want to get to know your name, man. It's just another... You're not going to be here in a month, you know? And so then it's like, once you find out someone's like, oh, okay, this guy... Yeah. He is funny. He is serious. He's going to keep doing it. Okay, cool. We'll be friends now, you know? But...
And I didn't get that for a while. Like, I didn't understand, like, that. Because I was just like, yeah, like you said earlier, it's like, I just thought everyone who was doing it was serious about being a comedian. That's how I thought about it. That's how I thought. You know?
My least favorite thing that people say is when you talk comedy with them, and then they're like, hey, what else is... Are there any other mics this week or whatever? You tell them like, well, there's this one. They're like, oh, I don't drive. I'm not going to drive to that part of the city for a comedy or whatever. And it's like, oh, quit.
Yeah.
It's time to quit then, because that's all this job is literally driving from town to town to tell your jokes. Yeah. Like, I can't stand it.
I live 5 minutes from most of the mics in South City. You know, it's like, it's not. I mean, I like my neighborhood, but, you know, it can get a little dangerous.
It's a little choppy, you know?
Yeah. I see homeless guys walking around, you know?
Did you ever have to go clean up a crime scene, like, really close to where you live? Like, hey, Sam, how'd you get here so fast? Be like, I was literally down. I heard it.
I did it.
I was first responder.
Yeah, that would be like the best way to like be a murderer is also be the cleanup guy, because then you could come back to the crime, clean it up, just be.
I wonder who did this.
No, but there was at the time, because I grew up in Wentzville. There was one that was in like St. Peters, I want to say. That was probably the closest one to me. It was mostly in the city, though. Mostly. Most of the suicide, homicide. Most of it was in the city. Did have some suicides out in the middle of nowhere. More suicides than homicides than you would think.
Really? Yeah, I can see that.
St. Louis is depressing.
It's not. It's not that bad. All right. It's not.
I mean, it just always depends on the situation. I think. I don't know, man.
I love St. Louis. It's so sad to hear how everybody else hates it here. And
I don't hate it here, but like I live here. I should be able to talk shit on it.
Yeah, you can.
I've seen some horrific things in the city.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's great, all right? I'm just saying.
I mean, in my apartment building in Central West Ed, I saw someone get literally murdered as I was walking out of my building.
Oh, okay. Well,
it happens.
Did you clean that up? I mean,
no, this is after I was doing the foreclosure stuff. Just funny. I've had such weird jobs, man.
Okay. So wait, you can't just be like, yeah, I watched someone get murdered. Anyway.
I guess I'll tell the story.
Well,
so I guess there's this bar on my old street, and we would go there and hang out. And I guess there was a couple there one night, and the guy had his bag on him, and his bag had like a gun, drugs, a bunch of cash, and I guess his girlfriend, who was like a newer girlfriend, stole his bag and left. And he was trying to find it. And then as I was walking out of my building, I saw him confronting her about it, and she took the gun out of the bag and shot him as he tried to run away.
Yeah, but what age?
yeah, but how old?
Yeah, damn it! Why can't I get that right?
Either way, it's funny.
It is kind of funny. So she just shot him for the... I mean...
I guess they were arguing. I kind of heard it as I was walking out, and I was just like, St. Louis. And then it was like...
You're like, St. Louis.
St. Louis. I just quirkily walked back to my car.
Oh, well.
It was funny.
But have you had toasted ravioli? Yeah.
Have you ever tried gooey butter cake?
Yeah.
Have you ever eaten Provel cheese raw in the middle of the night? It's probably the fattest thing I do. I get Provel cheese just to eat it raw. When I'm drunk and I come home.
Why? Why Provel cheese?
It's so good. It's like chewy. I don't know. I like it.
I'm just sitting thinking about drunk Sam at 3 a.m. There, Provel.
Tastes so good.
You usually eat it cold?
Yeah.
Why? I see more and more people talking about eating shredded cheese cold out of the fridge. Well, and I'm like, what? Who's doing this?
I'll eat like slices of cheese.
You don't get like, I mean, you at the very least grab some tortilla chips and sprinkle it on top, microwave it for 15 seconds. You know, like.
Yeah, you could do that.
No, you just want it cold, huh?
It's really like when I'm like out of groceries and I'm like, oh, I have cheese.
Oh, I've done that. I've done that. You ever put Parmesan cheese on like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
No.
Just to spice it up a little bit. You're like, what do I have? All right, crushed red peppers and Parmesan cheese. Let's try it out.
Yeah, I've had some weird like random snacks. I put Parmesan cheese on like a bunch of like those salted nuts. And I was like, this will maybe be good.
Let's try it out.
And I was like, this is kind of weird tasting.
Really? Cheese nuts?
Yeah. Cheese nuts, those were weird. So Parmesan cheese.
All right, well, here, we'll ask this and then we'll get out of here. What do you think the best flavor combination is?
The best flavor combination? Oh, man. Beer and cigarettes.
All right, everybody.
That's it for
me. Beer and cigarettes? I was thinking like sweet and spicy. But no. Beer and cigarettes. Yeah. Beer and cigarettes.
Oh. What happens when you get some trash on the show?
Oh, trust me. This podcast, I mean, besides Are You Garbage, I would say it would be a challenge to find a podcast that does more garbage than us. Yeah, because
like flavor combination.
Favorite flavor combination. Marlboro and Bud Light. Just like Mom used to make.
Just like the scent that used to fill up my home.
All right. One more time for your social media.
_Sam Vining _SAMVINING. And I don't have any shows, but
Yet.
Doesn't
have any shows yet.
Yet.
He's very funny. He's one of my favorite quote unquote newcomers to the scene. I think you would have won favorite newcomer if Taji hadn't been there last year.
Well, I wasn't even there last year.
Okay, good. So there you go. But yeah, no, you're not funnier than her. Shout out Taji. No, I'm just kidding. It's just the way to end it. Be like, yeah, we'll follow Sam. He's all right. But Taji.
Go follow Taji.
Once we get Taji in here, then you know the podcast is cooking. All right. You did your social media. What was it? I always ask, what's the best way to fix this podcast?
The best way to fix the podcast?
Yeah.
Maybe a better guest.
I've had people say better host, so it's still a win. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch y'all next week. Bye.